Hi, this is Alex from phpacademy.org, and this is another tutorial for the new Boston. In this lesson we're going to be talking about file uploads. Now this is a really popular topic because lots of websites now tend to deal with file uploads in one way or another. It may be, for example, uploading an image or uploading a document, or even uploading something that needs to be processed at some point. So how do we handle file uploads in PHP? Now it's relatively easy to handle file uploads in PHP, and for the purpose of this tutorial, if we just open up my browser, you can see that I've created an uploads folder here. The script that we're currently working with is upload.php, and we have another directory inside this directory called uploads. Now the purpose of this tutorial is not to talk about security in file uploads, it's just simply how we take a file, allow the user to select a file from their computer, and then send it to a specific directory. As this tutorial stands, the code in it's not safe to use on a web server, because in actual fact the user will be able to upload any file at all. For example, they could upload a PHP file, and they could mess around with your server in pretty much any way they like, as with exe files, things like that, executable files. So in this tutorial we're going to be learning how to upload, but we're not actually going to be learning how to protect against it. There is another tutorial I have in this same file upload series with the security discussion in there and how to secure against your form data. So how do we start? Well, we're going to start with a form first of all, and we're going to create the form in exactly the same way as you'd usually find. So our form action, we're going to be going back to upload.php, so we're going to be processing the file data inside our tags up here, and the method is going to be post. Remember, we're sending a large amount of data, so we want the method to be post. Now there is one additional attribute you need to supply in this form tag, and what we need to do is we need to supply the enc type. Now this is the way that the data in the form is encoded when it's sent, and we need to specify this to be multi-part, and it's /form and then a hyphen and then data. So this is basically going to allow us to process the form and enable file uploads. And we're sending a large amount of data, and this is the encoding type. This just tells, when we process it, tells how we're going to encode the data. So now we need to go on to allowing the user to upload a file. Now you may have come across this before, but we use input type, and this is file. So this has already created our button, our browse button if you like, and I'm just going to call the name of this file. So let's just break down, and we'll create a submit button, which is probably important. So submit, and name, or value rather, is submit. Okay, so let's refresh our form and see our page and see what we've got. Okay, so we've got an option to choose a file here and a submit button. When you do click submit, we're going remember we're submitting back to the upload.php page. So if I come up and I click choose file, we're presented with an open file box where we can choose a file type. Now in this tutorial, or in the next tutorial when we do with security, we're only going to allow files with the JPEG extension to be uploaded. So in this case, all these pictures here are JPEG files. So if I was to click on a file, for example, the file name's displayed. That's just how my browser displays things. It might look a little different in other browsers, and then I can click submit. Now at the moment nothing's happened because we don't have an area inside here or a function inside here that's going to process our file upload. So we've submitted the file, everything's worked, but now we need to grab the name of the file, the temporary location of the file. In case of comparing file sizes, things like that, and extensions, well, for the extension we need the name, but just as an example here, I'm going to create a few variables and then show you how to grab the data of the file. or different parts of data. So we use, well, in this case I'm calling this name. This is going to be the file, the file name of the file that's uploaded. So it's $_files, and then here we put the name of the variable name. So this in this case is file, because it corresponds to what we've put in the form here. So that's file. And then just like when we use associative arrays, because this is stored as an associative array, we use brackets next to it, and in here we just type name. Now what this will do is this will show us the file name of the file that we've uploaded. So hopefully when we click submit, this is going to be picked up by this here, and then we're going to grab the name, which is the file name, and then echo it out. I've just put an echo in front of there. So let's give that a try. We'll click choose file, and I'm going to click this here. So this is called Worsley_Nicola_1.jpg. So if I click submit, above here we've echoed out the name of the file. So in actual fact, as this page stands at the moment, we've gathered data about the file, and it's still there for us to use. So we can specify a few other as well. So let's just delete that echo. Another is size. So this is going to echo out the size of the file, or store the size of the file. So we use exactly the same structure, and it's just size in here instead. So it's name for name, size for size. We also have the type of file. So we have type, and that's $_files again, and that's file because that's the name of our form field. And then we just have type. Now the temporary location, or the temporary name of the file, is a bit different, and I'll explain what this is and why we need it basically. And this is TMP_name. Now the temporary name is slightly different to the other attributes in this case. What we have here is when we do process the file upload, each file is sent to a temporary location on your server. So I've just uploaded this file here called Worsley_Nicola_1.jpg. This has been stored in a temporary location on my server, ready for us to process it and put it somewhere relative to where we want it. So at the moment we don't actually have anything in file in this uploads folder. Although we've processed this file upload, we haven't actually moved it yet. So bear that in mind. This is the temporary location. We also have this error that we can access here. So that basically returns an error. I think it returns 0 if there's no error, but 1 if there's been an error processing that. But we're not really going to look at that just yet.